video, we are going to learn what specific research questions are answerable by using t-test for independent samples. In doing our research projects, we need to clearly identify what specific research statistics will be used in our data analysis. So in this video, we are going to identify sample research questions that are answerable by using t-test for independent samples. So let us have these examples. So for example, a researcher or you may be interested to test if there is a significant difference in the quality of life between the male and female workers. So in this example, we need to identify what will be our independent variable and what will also be our dependent variable. So for example, in this scenario, our independent variable will be sex, male and female. So a quick review on the types of independent variable. This type of independent variable is considered to be an assigned independent variable. So why it is considered to be assigned? Because this variable can no longer be controlled by a researcher. So what about our dependent variable? So our dependent variable here in our study, it's very clear that our dependent variable will be the quality of life of the male and female workers. So let us have here the quality of life. So the question here is, what will be the appropriate statistics that you will use in the analysis of this type of research question? For testing significant difference, and if you have two groups, independent groups, so in this case, we have a data for male and we also have a different data for female, meaning to say our data, the quality of life data, will be obtained from two independent groups, and that is for male and the other one is for female. Suppose your quality of life is measured in a continuous level. So if your dependent variable is measured in a continuous level and then you have an assigned independent variable and then you want to test significant difference between these two independent groups, the appropriate research statistics that you are going to use in your analysis will be, if your answer is t-test for independent samples, then you are right. So for the statistics that you are going to use here, you need to use t-test for independent samples. T-test for independent samples. So the appropriate test statistics that we are going to use in our paper here to answer the research question will be t-test for independent samples. So it's independent samples because the data will be coming from two independent groups, and in this case we have data for female and we also have data for males, and they are independent from one another. So that's one example of a research question and the sample research statistics to be used in the analysis. Let us have another example. So suppose a teacher is interested to determine whether there is a significant difference in the level of online learning readiness. Between junior high school and senior high school students. So between senior high school and junior high school students in a particular school. So again, you need to identify what will be your independent variable and what will also be your dependent variable. So in this case, our independent variable will be the grade level. Independent variable will be the grade level. So the grade level is categorized according to junior high school and senior high school. And of course, we also need to check what will be our dependent variable. So our dependent variable here will be the level of their online learning readiness. So level of online learning readiness. So one of the assumptions that you need to comply or you need to fulfill before running t-test for independent samples is that your dependent variable should always be continuous. So for example, this is measured in a continuous scale. Continuous level. So, and our independent variable is in category. So we have the grade level, and that is we have two levels for the junior high school, and the other one is for senior high school. So if you want to test difference for two independent groups, so why it's two? Because we only have the junior high school and the senior high school. So again, the appropriate statistics that you are going to use in the analysis will be yes, correct. If your answer is t-test for independent samples, then you are right. So the answer for here is t-test for independent samples. So of course, before running the analysis, you need to check, you need to have a review on what will be the assumptions before using t-test for independent samples. So aside from homogeneity of variance, you also need to check on what is the distribution of the data set, because t-test assumes or requires that our data set should be normally distributed for both groups. So question here is, what if our dependent variable is measured in categorical level? For example, for the level of online learning readiness, for example, if the researcher would like to categorize the level of online learning readiness based on high or low level. So if that is the case, your dependent variable is not measured in a continuous level. So t-test for independent samples is not appropriate to use in the analysis of the data set. So the same with our previous example that, for example, you want to check if the quality of life between male and female respondents will differ according to sex. So if the quality of life is measured in terms of high and low level of the quality of life, then again, t-test for independent samples will not be appropriate for the analysis. You need to check, you need to consider other statistics to run the analysis. Let's have another example. Suppose a researcher would like to test if there is a significant difference in the body mass. So is there a significant difference in the body mass of the respondents taking pill A and pill B? So in this scenario, we need also to identify what will be our independent variable. So our independent variable here will be the pill type. So we have the pill A and pill B, and we also need to check our dependent variable. So our dependent variable here in the study will be, can be considered as a continuous level. So again, this type of research question should be answered using yes, correct. If your answer is t-tests for independent samples, then you are right. So the answer, the appropriate test statistics for this is t-test for independent samples. Question here is, do we need to establish the same sample sizes for different groups? The answer is no. For t-test independent samples, suppose your group A, you have 13 or 15 respondents, and then the group B, you only have 12 or 13.